An important and seminal artist of the Madras art movement undeniably is C. Douglas, a nationally and an internationally acclaimed, well-known artist. He came from Kerala to Madras in 1971 to join the Madras School of Arts and Crafts. From a very young age, Douglas always had a predilection for drawing and painting, and he always took part in many of the school's painting competitions, smilingly saying that he always won the second and third prize but never the first. With his interest in art, he wanted to further his knowledge of it, so he joined an institution which was actually meant for training art teachers, and it was run by an artist, Balan Nair, which was in North Kerala. Though he spent a year there and he learned the 3 R's of arts and painting, but he was very unhappy about the methodology of teaching and various other things. It was only when he joined the Brennan College where he met radical thinkers and intellectuals and also listened to their lectures that a transformation came into him and he felt that he needed to do much more than what was given to him. It was at this time that he had a fortunate encounter with K. Damodaran, an alumnus of the Madras School of Arts and Crafts, who was living in Delhi but had exhibited 2 of his works at an exhibition celebrating the 60 years of the artist Balan Nair, in which 2 works of Douglas were also there. On seeing Douglas's works, he strongly recommended to him that he should join the Madras School of Arts and Crafts, and he also recommended him to the principal Krishna Rao, who was then the administrative head. And that is how in 1971 Douglas arrived in Madras. The impact of art education on Douglas was to shape and change his artistic thinking because he was surrounded by some of the most important, well-known figures of the time, namely teachers, artist teachers like L. Munuswamy, A.P. Santanaraj, Shanmugasundaram, and many others. It was here that drawing seems to have made a very strong impact on him, especially in the artist Shanmugasundaram and A.P. Santanaraj, as well as in the ink and line drawings of Adimulam and the graphic prints of R.B. Bhaskaran. Later on, he was to come in contact with K. Ramanujam, and it was Ramanujam's drawings that would change completely Douglas's approach to making art. He joined the school, and also in the 70s he settled at Cholamandal Artist Village. And Artist Village motivated him intellectually as well as artistically, surrounded by great eminent personalities like Panika, Dhanapal, and of course many others who were there, Jaipal Panikar, Vasudev, Arnavas Vasudev, Venkatapati, Anila Jacob, and many others. From his younger days, Douglas always was an avid reader, and while in Kerala, he read many of the magazines that were on Marxist thinking, like the Matrabhumi, which were also illustrated by artists like Nambudri. And this is where he had the first encounter of drawings and particularly the pictorial element of line. So while here at Cholamandalam Artist Village, he continued his preoccupation of reading, especially philosophies and poetry. So his restless mind, went into diverse directions, interested in Marxist reading, in post-structuralist philosophy, Lacan psychoanalysis, poetry, theater, and many other aspects. It was this kind of a versatile mindset and a very intellectual approach, which was mainly to guide the complexity in Douglas's works. Douglas has acknowledged openly that how much Ramanujam's works had impacted him. He felt that Ramanujam's journey with his drawings and especially with the line had much to do also with Douglas's journey, personally like Ramanujam and personally like Douglas in their alienation and displacement. Displacement for Douglas because for him it was a double exile. He came from Kerala and settled at Cholamandalam Artist Village. And from Cholamandalam Artist Village in 1981, he decided to go to Germany with a German girl whom he had met at Max Muller Bhavan. So he went to West Germany and he settled there in a small town where she was a teacher. Here, Douglas came into contact with many of the modernists, and he was particularly attracted to the new expressionists like Clemente and the abstractionists like Anselm Kiefer and many others. And he started working in painting, making abstracts which were very structured, which reminded also much of Haridasan's Neo Tantric works at Cholamandalam Artist Village. But somehow he realized that the works that he was doing there, which was more in the Western modernist style, was not accepted. And he soon realized that this was not going to work for him. And after 8 years, in 1988 or so, the prodigal returned back to Cholamandal. So that is how, he had this kind of a double exile and a sense of alienation, a displacement, because he was never settled in one place so far. So now, when he settled at Cholamandal, he began his figurative journey and he completely abandoned his structured, geometric, abstract compositions that he was working with in Germany. Philosophy and poetry remained at the heart of his intellectual thinking, and this was something he carried forth also in his paintings. Somehow he found that it is philosophy of life that he looked around, that he most importantly that he experienced, which was reflected in his works. That is why fragility, fragmentations are two important dimensions, are two important concepts that one sees completely in his works, appearing again and again, as a matter of fact, becoming the leitmotif of his works. And to have them materialized visually, he made use of the pictorial element of line, color, and textures particularly, and that is how he was able to evolve his works. So when we look at Douglas's works, they are always very complex. They are well intended in an intellectual manner to be presented in a way that completely self-reflexive of his varied experiences and to show the hurt, the pain, the tragedies, the alienation, the dissatisfaction with life. He also developed a methodology of painting. And that is why he used extensively crumpled papers, canvases that were layered with many layers of transparent colors, red mud which was mixed with Fevicol to give a different texturing, papers, crumpled papers that were stuck on the canvas. And it is in this way that he began to paint, creating textures, the layerings, which underneath all that spoke much about the very soul of Douglas as he began exploring his new journey now in the 90s. Douglas's work, when we look at it, they are evocative, they are lyrical, they are poetic, yes, but at the same time, there is also the life around which he had experienced and which he felt very intensely about. He nevertheless is a very intense artist, and it is that intensity that he brings to his works. When one looks at Douglas's works, one cannot simply say that it has been looked at and that there is nothing but fractured bodies, fragmented forms, various objects that he has meticulously chosen and put them in his works and created a large number of series, which goes to his credit of exploring and exploration. And he continues to work even today. And Douglas's signature remains his colors, which are black, gray, white, and red. And these are the subtleties of life as well as the subtleties of the genuineness of this artist and his large-heartedness, his generosity, his softness, his warmth, his, of course, he may not appear very friendly, but he has a genuine concern for humanity at large. And Douglas's work, in many ways, uh, communicates this, which he has done it with great